Okay, let's unpack this. Tesla.
Yeah,
I mean, a company that for so many people really was the EV revolution.
defined it, almost.
Exactly. But now they're in this, well, surprising spot. We've been looking at this piece in The Economist from March 2025,
Right.
and it highlights something fascinating. The overall EV market, still growing,
Mm-hmm.
but Tesla's sales
Yeah.
actually going the other way.
Down.
So that's what we're diving into today. Try and understand the forces behind this shift, really drawing on what The Economist laid out,
Exactly. And for you listening, if you're interested in getting to grips with these, complex business stories without drowning in jargon,
which is the goal.
right,
Yeah.
we're pulling out the key insights from that Economist article. And importantly, we're looking beyond just the headlines about, say, Elon Musk's politics.
Yeah, because there's often more to it.
There usually is. The article itself mentions other big factors.
So The Economist kicks off by noting something interesting. Initially, when Elon Musk joined the Trump administration, remember the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE.
DOGE, yeah. Meant to streamline things.
Right. Well, at first, investors, okay with it, even positive.
Yeah.
Barclays actually identified an Elon premium.
An actual premium.
Yeah, and the Economist had that chart showing Tesla's market cap, its total value hitting like a crazy $1.5 trillion back in December 2024.
Just incredible numbers. But what's really striking, as The Economist lays out, is how quickly things shifted.
Oh.
Musk's alignment with Trump, his political stances, it caused a pretty major backlash.
There's not just online chatter, right?
No, real-world stuff. The Economist talks about protests against his government role, the mass firings at DOGE becoming a big public issue, and then it escalated. Vandalism at showrooms, attacks on cars, even, tragically, an arson attack reported at a charging station.
Wow.
It really shows, for any brand that faces consumers directly, there's a real financial risk if you alienate a big chunk of your potential customers with strong political ties.
And The Economist had that anecdote, didn't they? About embarrassed,
Yes. Using anti-Musk bumper stickers.
which just paints such a vivid picture. It shows how that negative feeling could really hit brand loyalty, maybe even sales figures, which I guess is what The Economist explores next.
Precisely. It shows how tied together the person and the brand had become. Negative feelings about one just bled straight over to the other.
Yeah.
But, and this is crucial, the analysis in The Economist is careful. It says, look, the political stuff, definitely a factor, no doubt.
But not the whole story.
Exactly. Their reporting suggests sales were already starting to dip before Musk even got involved with the government.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. So, if politics isn't the only thing driving the sales slump, what else does The Economist point to?
Well, they lay out some pretty clear evidence. First off, Tesla dropped that huge goal, 20 million cars a year by 2030.
Gone.
Well, adjusted, let's say.
Yeah.
Then, more concretely, the article points to their first annual sales decline in years. Only 1%, but still down to 1.79 million cars.
A decline is a decline, especially after years of growth.
Right. And The Economist says this downward trend actually continued into the more recent months they looked at, sales falling compared to the year before.
And this is while the rest of the EV market is still growing.
That's the key point The Economist makes. The overall EV pie is getting bigger, but Tesla's slice seems to be shrinking. They use Barclays estimates. Potential 30% drop in European first quarter sales.
30%. Wow.
And Germany. Even worse. A huge 76% drop year on year in February. The Economist links that one pretty directly to Musk supporting a far-right party there.
Okay, that sounds political again. But
Right.
you see these other regional numbers that, as The Economist also notes, don't quite fit that simple narrative.
Exactly. Like, Barclays thought first quarter sales in America would be basically flat.
Flat, even with what the article calls significant antipathy towards Musk there.
Right. It's weird. And China, sales down nearly 14% in Jan-Feb. But The Economist says a political backlash isn't likely the reason there. Musk is generally seen okay in China.
So it's messy. It's not just one thing. What did The Economist say about the U.S. versus Europe discrepancy? That seems odd.
Yeah, those regional variations, as The Economist highlights, really do push you to look beyond just the political feelings. And then there's the UK data. Almost a 21% increase in sales in February. Go figure.
So strange.
So building on that complexity, The Economist brings up a more sort of operational factor, the Model Y update.
Ah, the new version coming out.
Right. So the idea is they were running down inventory of the old model. That likely, as the article puts it, crimped supply.
And maybe made people wait?
Exactly. Customers delaying their purchase until the new one arrives.
Okay, that makes sense. That would definitely affect the short-term numbers.
Yeah.
But The Economist seems to think there's something bigger going on. They quote Philippe Hauchois from Jefferies, calling Tesla a reluctant car maker.
Yeah, that's a strong phrase.
It is. So what does that mean? Being a reluctant car maker in this context, according to The Economist?
Well, Hauchois' point, as reported in the article, is about their lineup. It's basically just two main cars, right? The Model 3 and the Model Y.
Yeah, predominantly.
Compare that to, say, Toyota or any big global player. They have cars for every possible need, every price point. Tesla's range, it's pretty narrow.
So the idea is they're betting big on the future, maybe.
Oh,
Maybe missing out on sales today.
that seems to be the core insight, yeah. Betting on future tech, possibly at the expense of grabbing more of the current EV market.
And this connects to Musk's strategy calls, doesn't it? The Economist mentions he decided back in October not to do the cheaper Model 2.
Right. Hold the play on that.
And instead shifted focus. Robotaxis, humanoid robots,
Big future bets.
which The Economist highlights is a pretty significant strategic gamble.
It absolutely is. Because while robotaxis sound amazing, the immediate result, as The Economist points out, is Tesla isn't really competing in that more affordable EV segment that's growing.
And others are jumping in there.
Oh, yeah. Lots of competition now. Established car companies, new Chinese players. They're bringing out compelling, cheaper EVs, directly challenging Tesla where they used to dominate on price, which The Economist notes too.
So is the takeaway here that their first mover advantage is kind of eroding because they haven't diversified their products enough, like The Economist seems to suggest?
I think that's a fair reading of the article's implications.
So, okay, Tesla was dominant for ages, but now The Economist seems to be saying it's a bit of a double whammy, losing some customers, perhaps due to politics, and falling behind on product variety as the market gets tougher.
That sums it up pretty well. A tough spot.
Yeah.
And The Economist also makes this really key point about Tesla's valuation, its stock price.
Ah, right. Not just about car sales anymore.
Not really based on the usual things like profits per car. It's much more tied to this belief in Musk's ability to just disrupt everything.
The visionary stuff.
Yeah. Like his claims, noted in the article, that robotaxis and robots will make Tesla the most valuable company in the world by far. It's all about that future vision.
That future focus, exciting as it might be for some investors, could also be part of the problem now. Does The Economist link those things?
So he touches on it, yeah. It mentions Musk's Fox News interview where he admitted it was, quote, great difficulty juggling everything. His companies, the government role.
Spreading himself thin.
That's the subtle implication in the article, yeah. Spreading himself ever thinner.
Hmm.
And it leads to that final, quite pointed line in The Economist. They mention Trump defending Tesla from protesters, but then say,
What was it?
much of the blame for that lies with his buddy, Mr. Musk.
Oof. Pretty direct.
Very direct. It kind of wraps up The Economist's core argument. External factors exist, sure, but internal strategy and Musk's own actions are really significant parts of why Tesla's facing these challenges.
Right. So, okay, let's try and summarize what we've pulled from The Economist's analysis in this deep dive. It seems like a mix, a confluence of things hitting Tesla.
Definitely.
You've got the political heat from Musk's ties to Trump. You've got strategic decisions about products like not doing the cheaper car, focusing on the future tech,
Yeah.
and then just more competition.
Yeah, the EV market isn't just Tesla anymore, and it's really crucial, as The Economist helps you see, how these things connect and play off each other.
It's not just one simple reason.
Not at all. It's the political headwinds hitting the brand, combined with specific product choices happening just as the competitive landscape gets way tougher. That combination is creating the current situation.
It definitely gives you, the listener, a much deeper picture than just, reading the quick headlines about Tesla.
For sure.
And it really makes you wonder, thinking about what we've discussed from The Economist, is Tesla's future really about cars anymore? Or is it all riding on Musk's bigger bets? The robotaxis, the robots.
It's a huge question.
Can a car company really thrive long-term if it seems to be prioritizing things that aren't traditional car manufacturing? Something to mull over, definitely.